The Spoon with Jayme and Beth.
Hi, it's us.
It's us. We like a
Again.
lot of spoons.
Okay. You always say that. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know why I always say that. It just comes out.
But I think that that's what life is about, right? It's like taking that last bite, like savoring the bowl of cookie dough.
And sampling different flavors of
Oh
things.
my gosh. Are you a Costco sampler?
Well, they haven't had samples in Costco.
Okay,
for
pretend
like
COVID
years or
never
something.
happened. But like pre-COVID, were you a COVID?
I would definitely
Cos-
take some Costco samples.
Okay.
I can't talk. Yes,
Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Why? Is
I
that
don't
like a type of person? What do you mean?
It's absolutely a type of person. I know people that would go to
Yeah, if
Costco
there's like-
after church
Oh, I don't go
and
there
walk
for
around
the samples.
and just get samples for lunch.
What?
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't do
I
that.
don't like eating public food typically. Like, I know that the Costco samples
what
don't
it is.
stay out for very long, but it's just like weird to me, like communal cootie food. But
it's not, because it's always an individual little cup thingy.
somebody reached their hand over it and like, or their little kid has walked over there coughing
No,
up
that's
a
why
storm.
you stand there and you wait for
Yeah.
them to give you the
Yeah.
fresh
I just always
sample.
felt so weird to be like, oh, I'm going to wait around for this
Yeah,
sample.
no,
but
I get annoyed with people waiting around. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have a shopping cart and I need to get down this aisle.
yeah,
Can you
it's
please?
like move.
Yes.
Move. You don't need a cheese with cracker on it or cracker with cheese on it.
I did like
Whichever.
the samples, like when I had little kids and I was shopping at Costco, because that would be helpful,
Yeah.
especially when they
cute.
had like ice cream or whatever.
At like Yolks, they have the little like take a free cutie or a banana for your kid when you're shopping. I think that's so sweet.
That is. I
don't
never
know.
shop there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just nice. I don't have kids, but I'm like, I don't think they'll let me take one. But whatever.
well, they used to do that at Whole Foods in Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and I always took my
Yeah.
kids to do that because
Your Whole Foods in Hawaii had the best tofu I've ever had. And every day I was there, I would go, when I was visiting, I would go to that Whole Foods and I would get a block of this tofu. It was amazing.
that Whole Foods was the best place ever. Tony and
Yeah.
I would go there for dates because
Yeah.
they had a patio and we could get stuff, like they had a little cafe kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
You
And
and
it
I
was
had a
cheap.
date there
I bet we did.
when I was visiting, and it was
great.
amazing.
It was like my favorite place.
Yeah.
I loved it.
We had one of our deepest conversations we've ever had there.
Oh, do you remember what it was about?
I do. I can't say it on this venue,
well,
but
I want
yeah.
to know what it was. I'm
No.
glad you remember it.
I know. You
Maybe
just,
I will once you remind me. Okay, we'll move on to. But I want.
Okay, I'll see if I can recall. But so this is getting posted. It's the day after Memorial Day, and hopefully it's the start of summer season,
Mm-hmm.
which is very exciting because it's been a long winter. It was a long spring,
My gosh. It feels like it has been
forever.
so long.
It feels like it's been a 2-year winter.
It does.
Like
I would agree with
the
that.
Snow Queen took over, and we're coming out of it. The frost is finally
Oh my
going away.
gosh. Literally last week, I was sitting in sleet.
Oh, lovely.
Last Saturday, it
Yeah.
was still really cold, but I think we've turned a corner
Yeah, it's done.
this weekend.
Yeah, it's totally done. But this also is the start of graduation season,
Mm-hmm.
which for me has always been like a huge deal because of youth ministry, which
Mm-hmm.
I hate to keep bringing it up, but it was like such a big chunk of my life for so long
Mm-hmm.
that I can't help it. And this time of year, I used to always dread it because I would get invited. I'd like to actually go to graduation. And in a typical year, I'd have to go to a minimum of 4.
Oh wow.
4. And in a bad year, I had to go to 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And when graduations are, especially high school graduations, are the worst. Like sitting through all the valedictorian speeches, and like every school around here has like 15 valedictorians.
What?
Yeah. And
that doesn't make any sense.
because they all have the exact same GPA because they're all
Is
very
it not based on anything other than GPA?
No, it's who's the top of the class. It's GPA. And so it's, I mean, good for them. And all those kids go to like very prestigious. Clearly I was not valedictorian, but they go to these prestigious schools and whatever. And so it's interesting, but it's like all of the speeches are kind of the same. And you're just
Mhm.
like, these kids are like having
15?
these
I'm
moments.
still trying to process that. That's so out of my.
Just wait when you go to your first
did
high
not
school
know that.
graduation
I did
here.
not
It's so
know
many.
I thought it was one person and or maybe 2.
No, they have like a lot of times they have 8 to whatever.
Do they all give a speech?
They all give it like a 2-minute
gosh.
speech, and then they have the salutatorians. I think that's how you say it. And they're the ones that are like right below valedictorian. It's just the whole thing. It's a lot of
I
speeches
have
and
not
talks.
been to a graduation here.
You are fortunate, and it just takes forever. But I always get like overcome and stuff. But so when I started having a lot of kids graduated, I came up with like this letter for my first student. Her name was Annie. Annie, if you're listening, I love you dearly. And this was like the first person that graduated at this last set of kids I was with. And so I wrote her a letter of like, here's my tips. Cause I feel like even now, I still like never got to say all the things I wanted to tell them. And I didn't include this in this letter because there was stuff that was like, well, if your mom or dad reads it, they're like, what is she teaching you? But I came up with this letter and I just kept modifying it over the years. And so every kid, when they graduate, I give them this letter. This is like my solid advice tips for them. And then I give them like a little gift and stuff. So I thought we could, in celebration of graduation.
Cool. I want to hear this.
Yes. And then please add your own as like tips. So this is really geared towards like high school, college students. I mean, I wrote it for high school, but it works for anybody that's just graduated and headed into that new phase of life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you my tips. I always start off how I love them and all that crap, but we don't care about that. So I always say this is my first tip is sunscreen is your best friend. Wear it, especially on your face, neck, and hands. You will thank yourself 15 years from now when your friends are starting to look tore up. Sun damage equals wrinkles. Not that wrinkles are bad, but come on. Also skin cancer.
Yes. Good. But good tip.
Yeah. Not enough people wear it.
I never used to, but I do all the time. But the hands thing, so I put daily sunscreen on my face, but I have not been putting it on my hands.
That's where you see age first is the hands and your décollage. So that little place like where your boobs.
Yes.
I see people, I'm like, oh, you've gotten a lot of sun, girl. Because it's like they're out with watching their kids' baseball games. They don't wear sunscreen. And it's like all this is wrinkly and saggy. So their face will look good. But then like their boobs are just like starting to look, I don't know. And the other big one you got to do is the tops of your ear.
Yeah.
It's a popular place for skin cancer. So you got to make sure you get those tops of the ear. So, and as a Black person, I think, oh, I don't need nope, you need sunscreen too. And they have them now. So if you're not Black, you might not know this is that sometimes, if you wear sunscreen, it gives you like this weird ashy sheen because it's not made for our skin basically. But they actually have like sunscreen specifically for Black people. So you don't get this weird ashy look thing on your face. So cool. You can get it at Target. So there you go. Sunscreen. Next up is figure out how to manage your money. Balance your checkbook. Know where your hard-earned cash is going and how you're spending it. Save for retirement as soon as you start making money. Tithe. Giving my first 10% to God rocked my world. Trust him with your funds. Managing your finances is all part of being a strong, independent person. Great advice. And I want to do an asterisk by tithing is because it's like, I'm all about tithing where you feel led to tithe, not necessarily giving to a specific church. I think a lot of times people think tithing, I have to give to the church. I'm like, no, I send money all the time. I don't mean it like that. Like, guys, I'm just so amazing. I send money all the time to these places, but I really think it's important to listen. And so it's like sending it to the right organization. And it's amazing how many people don't balance their checkbook. I was sitting with somebody and we were talking about finances and they're like, oh, I just look at my balance. I'm like, well, how do you know if something hasn't hit or you have something out? I don't know. I'm like, what? I mean, I know that's old school to balance your quote checkbook, but.
Well, we do all our banking online. So I have an app that I can see everything.
I know, but like, I don't know. I use like an app on my computer where I import all that stuff and then I categorize everything so I can see my spending over time.
Yeah, that's smart. That's good.
And again, this is old school. I'm an elder millennial. So it's like, I remember when I first got to college, we still had checkbooks. Like I have a checkbook now. It's a holdover. Like I have actual checks, but it's because I've had them for the last however many years I've had this bank account. It's not like I go out and get checks because I don't even remember the last time I used a check.
Oh, really? I use checks every month.
Why?
Because for Karis's piano lesson, she's a grandma lady and she wants to be paid in a check.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
And then there are certain different things that I've used checks for, but most of the time I'm not using them. But
every once in a while, like if somebody, like I had a family member that graduated, so I sent a check. Normally I would Venmo, but I put it in a card and I want it to be more than just like, here's some money on Venmo. So that was kind of awkward, But yeah, when I was first in college, I had this roommate who was something else. And like I was balancing my checkbook one night. She's like, what are you doing? And this was a time when people still had active checkbooks. It wasn't just like whatever. And I just was like, mind was blown. But yeah, I know that's not a thing anymore. People are like, you're old. You can just look online. I know I look online all the time, but I also track. So yeah, now I feel really ancient, but that's fine. No, I still stand by it. Minimally, you got to know what you're spending your money on because that's important. All right. Keep it classy in thought, word, deed, and especially social media, it's really hard to delete yourself from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So
I fully agree with that. Such great tips. And that's what I tell my kids because, the whole privacy thing, like, okay, my kids have phones now. If they want to have private conversations, that's not going to happen through text. That's not going to happen through text. They don't have social media yet, but I'm trying to teach them that, like, that's not private.
Yeah.
So you have those in real personal, like in real life, like with a person in front of your face.
I'm pretty sure I shared this during a sermon, but I basically told the kids, like, hey, don't take pictures of your dinglings because if you send it to a girl, just know that all her friends are going to see it too.
Yeah. Plus, that's just gross.
Nobody wants I forgot my first unsolicited nude picture the other day. Somebody texted me a picture and it was like either was a bot or the wrong number. I'm pretty sure it was like one of those spam things, but it was like and I got it at work. So I pick up my phone. I'm like, ugh. It said something about want to see my kitty. And there was a picture, but I couldn't see the picture. So I immediately deleted it. I'm like, I don't need that burned in my brain.
No, you do not.
But it was my first unsolicited, not that I solicit pictures, but where I've just
clarifying,
whatever. So anyway,
that's terrible.
Okay. Have a signature something, a scent, a shoe, a piece of jewelry, something classic for people to remember you by. So I always wear Chucks. Like I always wear All Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's your signature?
That's my signature.
I did not know that.
Yeah. But it's like I'm always wearing, that's the only tennis shoe I'll wear or the only like that type of shoe I'll wear. So yeah.
That's cool.
But I think it's
nice. About what mine is.
It's like, oh, like you always wear this. Like my aunt, she used to always wear the same fragrance. And so it just, anytime I smell that, it just takes me back to that. I know some people like they only wear like they've always worn like the same earrings or the same necklace. Anna Wintour of Vogue magazine, I think she wears always the same necklace, and she's it in different colors and it always matches, but it's the same thing. So anyway, something to think about.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Floss every day without exception. Brush too.
Yes. Like absolutely.
Flossing will change your life. I know it's not that fun, and brush your teeth twice a day. Like I grew up being a once a day person. I don't know what was wrong with my parents, but they were just like, you just brush in the morning and you're good to go. And I'm like, no wonder I had so many cavities as a kid. I didn't even know what floss was, I think, until I was like in high school. So,
well, yeah, that one is, I make my kids brush their teeth at night, of course. The morning one is harder for me to like burn into their brains. I don't know why. I think because we just get going like, and to have them, I always remind them, but I don't think it's become like a real routine for them. Even after all these years.
Yeah. Which is like morning is so like your breath is stinky.
I know. I brush my teeth twice a day, for sure. But I hope I can instill that in my children as well. But I'm glad that you have included this as in your tips.
This is real life.
I hope you give this letter to my children.
Every person that graduates that I know gets this. Well, here's the thing. I just want to put people onto this is like cocoa floss. If you're not a big flosser, you got to get cocoa floss. It's like designer floss. It's amazing. It's kind of thicker strand and
never heard of it.
Okay. Well, I think they have it at Target. I'm not sure, but yeah, I order mine.
Does it taste like chocolate?
No. It's kind of like they have all different flavors. They have like the classic mint, but then they have like tropical flavors too and stuff. I don't really like flavored, whatchamacallit?
Toothpaste and stuff?
I don't like flavored, I don't like strawberry or mango floss. It just defeats the purpose. I want mint. I want fresh. Yeah. But anyway, if you are looking for designer floss, that's where to be.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Next one is challenge yourself to be fearless. Say yes to all new experiences, asterisk, with the exception of drugs and high-risk behavior. Try an improv comedy class. Go to a concert outside your music genre comfort zone. Learn to dance the two-step. Sing loudly at karaoke. Take a class in taxidermy. Life is about the experience. The varied, the better.
That's cool.
I always tell my students, especially like when you go to college, there's so many opportunities. And it's, a lot of times you grow up with people, you're that person, you go to college, you get to be who you want to be. You're away from your parents. Nobody knows
all your history.
Like nobody knows that, nobody knows that you were this in high school or that growing up. You can be whatever. And it's just like, go to everything that you can. And I always say with the exception of like, I always tell them, don't put heroin in your eyeballs. Like just, let's just not chase the dragon. Like just try everything. Like, I'm big on that. Okay, the next one is take care of your body. You only get one. Seriously, this is the one thing I wish I would have realized when I was younger. What you do now sets you up for the long term. There will come a day when you're 35 and take a tumble and realize that you can't pop up like you used to. You'll have to assess the situation and make sure nothing is tweaked, twisted, or broken before slowly making your way to your feet, silently crying. Eat veggies and exercise, try new sports. A body in motion stays in motion. Sitting is the enemy. Keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
I still follow none of that own advice. Like all I do is sit, but it is true. I fell down the other day. So I was cleaning out. So I don't have enough space here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing some rearranging and I was putting some like, so I have like, I like a food dehydrator and a juicer and just stuff that's like very specialty, but I don't want to get rid of it because it's expensive. And then if I want to use it again, it's just one of those
But it
things.
doesn't fit in your kitchen?
Yes. So I was putting them in a closet and I had a little 2-step step stool and I go to step down and I have nothing in my hands. I go to step down. I missed the second step.
Oh, gosh.
So again, I'm like a foot off the ground, which is not that much. But for my 41-year-old body,
Yeah, it
it was jerky. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I could have died. And then I was by myself in the house. I'm like, what if I would have slipped and fell? What if I would have fallen down? Fratelli would have eaten my face and I would have been in trouble. So freaked out.
Oh, Beth.
Okay. Travel often, taste new things, create real connections with people, even if it's only for a moment. It will make your life richer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's that. This is really important. Eyebrows matter. Invest in a pair of Tweezer Man slanted tweezers. They last a lifetime and your stray hairs will love you. Brow maintenance is important. It can literally change your whole look. And nose hairs also become real as you get older.
You know what? You told me about the Tweezerman slanted tweezers.
Right? Life changing.
Totally changed my life.
Yeah.
I cannot believe what dumb, ridiculously ineffective
Sliver
stupid
tweezers.
tweezers
Yeah.
I was using for like, I don't know,
Years.
35 years
Yeah.
or something. Well, no, not that many because I didn't pluck my eyebrows when I was a child. But anyways, yes, I can attest to
Yeah.
those tweezers.
Yeah.
And I will never go back.
Yeah. They would sharpen them for free, but I think now they only charge $5. So you can always, they last forever and you can send them in, they'll sharpen them, bring them back to you and just keep it going. Yeah. Girl, I have all the tips right now. Okay. Next one is time is your most valuable commodity. You have a lifetime in front of you. Do your best not to squander your time. Be intentional, live in the moment, but plan for the future. Listen for the voice of God.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I do not take my own advice, but
It's good
Yeah.
advice.
every day I'm like, be more intentional. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll start tomorrow. I'll be more intentional. Then it's just like, what'd you do yesterday? I watched a show and went to work. That's it. The next one, again, youth minister, pray in and for all things. Trust God. Make time for him in your life. Seek a strong relationship with Jesus. Make sure you have community. Read your Bible sometimes. Love others boldly and without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like this one too. Take time to find out who you are before you make another person your world. It's just as easy to fall in love with the wrong person as it is the right one. Pick your partner. Your partner will influence you more than anyone else. Pick the right person.
Yeah. Really good advice.
Yeah. I have yet to find that partner, but there's a few duds that I definitely dodged. So I think about
good.
that. I don't know. You're married, so this doesn't happen every once in a while because I'm super single right now. I don't know what comes over me, but I like to look up every person I've ever liked ever on the internet and see what they're doing. And so I looked up somebody last night and it was just like, what?
Really?
Yeah. And I had for me, it was a super cringy moment. Like we had gone to dinner and a movie and at the movie, my hands were dry. And so I put lotion on, but I couldn't see, it was previews. So I couldn't see how much was on me. And so I squirted too much lotion into my hand and I'm trying to rub it in places. And finally I just rub it on the back of my pants because it was like on my jeans. Cause it was like,
it was too much.
It was so much. And it was like, I never use scented. It was scented. And so I'm just like trying to get it off. And there's this guy sitting next to me. He's probably thinking this freak is like rubbing lotion all over her clothed body. And I felt so awkward. But then I was just like, yeah, but like, do you even like this person or like that person? I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was stalking him on Facebook. So
apparently you did like him a little.
No, officially did not. But but it was just interesting like to see like, oh, what would my life been if I would have like pursued that more? And then I'm like, you're fine. Okay. This is for the high schoolers. This college is about creating a network with students, faculty, and alumni. It's investment into your future. Have fun, but treat it as such. Study hard, take internships, make a name for yourself, be brave, and go after what you want. I spent a buttload of money on college and didn't realize that you weren't paying to just go to school. You're paying to like meet people, network, get to know people, use those connections to like get yourself, move yourself forward. And then there's me at college, just going classes, not talking to a single person or advisor, working all the time and going to class,
getting
no
your groceries
internships
delivered.
Yes. Just being a little hermit.
Lounging with your diva pillow.
Yes. And then literally leaving college, like, what did I pay all that money for? Like, so yeah, not good. And then last but not least is building a life that you love. That's always like my goal. It's like, just build a life that you love because life is too short. And I think a lot of times we build our lives to suit other people. And it's a lot of times it's late in the game when you really start like living for yourself and like doing what you actually want to do. So
yeah, I really like those tips. I really think that's all good advice. I really like the relationship advice too of finding out who you are.
Yeah.
Because when you're young and when you're especially like high school, college age, the future is so unknown and it's exciting and like
it's all potential.
Everything is potential.
Yeah.
And like all these, people that you meet and people that you maybe have a crush on and like can fantasize about like, all kinds of like futures and different things. But it's like, you really do need to know who you are.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I don't know. I had lots of friends from high school marry their high school sweetheart. And you look and it's like very few stay married.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there's just so much growth that happens between like 18 and 28. Like, and can you grow together? Obviously, like there's definitely like successful stories, but it's also nice too that like, I don't know, I've known some of my friends too that wake up in their 30s and they've been married since they were 22 and had babies right away. And that's been their whole life. And they do not know who they are anymore. They do not have an identity out of mother and wife. And if you ask them what their hobby are, they don't even know what they like. And I'm like, that is terrifying to me. And if you're in that place, you don't have to stay in that place. So drama. Anyway, but yeah, if you're graduating or you just graduated or
have a kid
or have a kid that's graduating.
Yeah. Hit up Beth for her
oh my gosh, my letter.
Her letter.
But yeah, I just think it's just such a fun time. I'm very excited for the graduation season because of all the graduation parties. And I'm hoping I get invited to a bunch of them, not because I want to rage with children, but because I get to see my students again, especially the ones that have been away. And I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited to like reconnect and, be able to hug freely and just enjoy and not, I don't know. I'm just super excited. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. My son is going to be starting high school.
Oh my gosh.
This year. So graduation's not that far away.
No.
Like for our family. So
I'm going to go by in a heartbeat.
It's kind of strange to think about. But I have not been to graduation parties.
Oh, they're so fun.
So
it's so fun. Yeah. My best friend, her son's graduating and she had him so she had a baby. I opened a business. And so, but he's turning 18 or he's 18 and he's going to be graduating, which is so weird because it's just like, I remember when you were nothing. Like I was at your parents. I helped get your parents, talking in high school. And now you're a grown man with facial hair.
I mean, you're still
to some extent. Yeah. And graduating and starting a life. And it's just wild to see the passage of time through that. Yeah. Now I feel old AF. And
I do too.
Yeah, it's great. I can't even when I don't know. I graduated from college in 2003, which sounds like 10 years ago, but it was a lot longer.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
It's so weird.
That was almost 20 years
I know.
ago, Beth, because next year is 2023.
I am fully aware, JD. But it's just like, you graduate and I thought I was going to move to Hollywood and be a producer and all this stuff. And then I was going to have a successful like empire of this and do that. And then I'm like reflecting on like where I really am. And it's just like, oh, well, did not expect those curves in the road. But yeah, it's wild. Like I look back at, we did our 20-year high school reunion, like, I don't know, a few years ago, like right before COVID broke out. And again, it's so surreal and strange, you know, to think back to those days of like, who were you at that time? And I remember graduating from high school and just feeling so overwhelmed and excited. And again, it was all possibility. It was everything was on the table. And then as you get older, it's like everything, it just feels like things just get pulled off the table. Like, oh, that's not for you.
Well, I think it changes too. Like, yeah, you're right. Things do, like some of those windows close and you're like, well, that's never going to be an option. But there's also so many things that open up that never were before.
Like, it's even like, okay, you were sitting at the buffet and then you just slowly start figuring out what your genre is. Like, no, I'm really a French restaurant or a French diner or this or that. It really just, your scope just changes. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird, but happy graduation if you graduated. I hope that you are successful in all your endeavors, especially in the uncertainty of the world that we live in. And just have some fun. That's the other thing. Just have fun. Like, you don't have to go super, super wild, but for the most part, you're not going to be like 20 years later, you don't look back, you know what? I wish I would have, you know, been more straight-laced and whatever. Right. For most people, I know everybody has their own journey and some people go buck wild, but a little fun now and then, you know.
I agree. Good. I don't think you should ever stop, though, having fun. I mean...
No, but especially when you're young, because you can bounce back a lot faster. Just saying.
It's
like,
true.
I did not drink much when I was a kid. I mean, not like a literal kid, but when I was young and in college and stuff. And then I drank more in my 30s, and that was not as cute as far as like being able to just like drink, you know, a bottle Prosecco and then bounce back the next day and try to have a functioning life.
Yeah, well, true. And, you know, the alcohol to water ratio is very important.
Yes,
here's my tip.
That's the tip. Here's Jayme's tip.
1 to 1. 1 glass of water per like ounce of alcohol or the equivalent.
Drink. Yeah, per drink.
Per drink.
1 shot, 1 glass of water.
Yes.
1 glass of wine,
1 glass of water.
A beer,
glass of water.
Get some hydration in, sir.
Absolutely makes all the difference.
Yes. So there you guys go. Remember, don't drink when you're underage.
That's right. Because if you're graduating from high school, you are underage,
even though with a wink and a smile, I know you already did. So any of my youth group kids out there that were trying to act all sweet and innocent when you were at church on Sunday, I knew about it all of it. And guess what? No judgment here.
Yeah.
But I totally knew. I hope it haunts you.